Hello, hello, hello. My name's Elder, and this is my channel. Welcome to YouTube. Let me know if this whole getup works any better for the old peaking situation here on the audio side of things. What are we talking about today? Well, I'm sure that if you have been following the news or following Facebook or YouTube or any of social media platforms, you will have seen that Don Jr. was on The View. Maybe you haven't seen it because you're not a 40-year-old woman and you don't follow things like this. Hey there, how's it going there? Channel with nothing on. How's it going? Thanks for joining the chat there. Yeah. So if you're new to the channel, if you're just popping in, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because what the fuck does it matter anymore? YouTube's pretty crazy these days, and I don't think any of that stuff really matters. So if you want to support the channel, sharing the video and telling your friends about what's happening here on the platform, joining us over on the Discord, these are all the best ways to grow and build this channel. With that being said, if you'd like to donate and help the support of the channel and help us continue to grow here, I will leave links for that as well in the description below, and links to the Discord. So get on over there and talk about some hard discussions. But yeah, we're going to talk today about how much The View sucks. The View sucks bad. I've been meaning to make a video about this for a while, actually. I went and looked through my old videos, so I thought to myself, did I already talk about this? But no, I have not talked about how much The View sucks in general. And Joy Behar, of course, and Whoopie Goldberg are two of the most damning characters on the channel, on the show, if you will. And today we're just going to go over a little bit of the situation that happened with Trump Jr., Don Jr. Personally, don't know too much about him, but from what I've seen, not too big of a fan. Also, mainstream media tends to portray people in a negative light, but of course, he's done some things that I definitely disagree with. One major thing being the trophy hunting situation. But with that being said, right, this dude has some balls. He goes on this station, and goes on this channel, this show that lots of people have been on, and calls out the individuals who clearly need to be called out, and doesn't back down when things need to be said. And that's an admirable character. It sucks that this tends to be coming from people who have also very negative qualities as well. So I wonder where the strong leaders are in the world today. That's a question I have for you guys. But either way, we're gonna hop into this. I'm gonna play a bit of this, and I have some timestamps of some things I want to talk about. And yeah, so I guess Trump Jr. here, Don Jr., calls out Joy Behar for her blackface incident, which we will get into, as well as calling out Whoopi Goldberg for being the hypocritical. I don't even know how to describe it. First of all, Whoopi Goldberg's racist. We'll go over that in a video of its own, because there's so many things to point out. And I don't know if you can see, I'm black, so I have a few things to say when it comes to what she has to say throughout this video. But we'll get into that. I guess we should just play the video so you can understand where I'm coming from if you haven't seen any of these videos. But yeah, so a little context. I guess Buddy comes on The View and immediately starts getting attacked because he outed the whistleblower that started this whole impeachment inquiry, I guess. Whatever, who cares? He didn't even, first of all, he retweeted, retweeted, whatever you do on Twitter there, an article. Yeah, right there, Lee. Thanks for joining the chat. I am definitely black. It's crazy to see. It's crazy when you hear it out loud, because you may not have seen it or may not have noticed, but I really am. And yeah, so he is being attacked for outing the whistleblower, even though he just retweeted or quote tweeted, whatever the hell it is, an article written by the Drudge Report, as he outlines so many times, which is not outing anybody. This is a mainstream article that's out there. This is information that's out there to the public. Of course, he has a bigger platform than the Drudge Report, but that is nothing. That doesn't mean anything. The information is out there for people to find, to see. It's not private information anymore. I guess, like, the person who outed it and put the information online, they could be in a situation, but not somebody who's just spreading that information. Do not stop people from spreading information. What do you say there? Teresa, thanks for joining the chat there. Whoopi is a racist. Yeah, you know, she is. Okay, so let's get into... At least one person knows out there. I mean, that's the whole thing. So many people know, and this is why I said he's not a good I don't know if he's a good person, but from what I've seen, I don't think that Don Jr. is a respectable individual. Who knows? Perhaps he is, and I have a biased point of view from just the information that I've seen. But, he has come and called out individuals who need to be called out, and it doesn't matter where that's coming from. There are so many people within the mainstream media and perhaps in your own life that, you know, need a little check here and there. And so let's just get into it. Like I said, he's getting called out, and we'll just get into a little bit of information that starts off this. First of all, as well, The View put these all these clips are out by The View, so I don't know why they would incriminate themselves like this, but I guess people are seeing it already. It's going to be spread around, so let's get into it, guys.
You guys are here. We're going to get to Triggered the book in a moment and your relationship, but you did something that triggered a lot of people yesterday, including myself, by releasing the name of the whistleblower whose complaint has now led to impeachment hearings. The whole point of releasing a name is to intimidate someone, to threaten someone, and to scare other people from coming out. That's something that dictators do. I've lived in China. I've seen that firsthand. That's not what America does. That's not who we do. We stand by our people. Why did you want to release the name?
Listen, Abby, I think it's a fair question. You know, I think the reality of the answer is the whistleblower's name was on a little website called The Drudge Report a couple days ago. It was in Real Clear Politics. I literally quote tweeted an article that had the guy's name in the title of the article. So that whole thing is nonsense. But I wish the outrage would be equal. I mean, there was no outrage when, you know, my family got an exploding letter of, you know, with white powder substance in it. You know, they're protecting a guy, you know, in the CIA, and there's great outrage, but when your family gets something, it's there. And that's a big part of the book, which is, it's not a level playing field in terms of outrage. We do live in an outrage culture.
But he asked to be anonymous. Your family did not. There's a difference.
But it was literally millions of people, and for days he's been out there in the media.
But
you know,
make it right.
So what's the difference?
So they're going to continue to argue for however long they argue for, and I have the first timestamp here at 3:28. So we're at 1:22, 3:28, you know, whatever. They're going to argue for another 2 minutes and a few seconds there, you know, so we'll go to this, and this is the response given by, I guess that's his girlfriend. I don't even know who these people are, right? It's just, it doesn't even matter. That's what makes it even worse. If you don't know anything about what's being said from an unbiased point of view, you take a step back, and the people on The View look terrible. Thanks for joining the chat, RC, and thanks for joining Bill. Just, it's absolutely ridiculous to see The View themselves put this up as though they are going to look good. I don't even know who anybody is here, and they look terrible, and the things that they claim are easily verifiable. So we'll just continue. Here we go with the timestamp.
Here's the thing, there's a lot of context to it, and I hear what you're saying. It's a fair enough question, because he may be a private citizen, but nevertheless, he is the son of the President of the United States.
And a campaign surrogate.
And he's somebody who works as a campaign surrogate, but not officially, with the campaign. But nevertheless, when you look at this facts and you look at the circumstance, you look at, in fact, even on this show, the first day after the election, they said, and now let's start with impeachment. This has been something that's been going, it's been a concerted effort by a lot of people who are disappointed by the results of the election to undo it and remove a duly elected president of the United States, number one. Number two, when you look, well, it was on the show on November 9th. So
no, actually, it wasn't.
You guys talk about impeachment.
We've had all kinds of. Wait, I see. I listened. Now I'm asking for the same.
Fair.
We are an opinion show.
Correct.
That's what we do.
Correct.
What you seem to have done and feels very disingenuous, because you can't say I'm a private citizen, and yet you're in the middle of all of this. You brought to the FBI folks, everybody talked to you. You know, you're part of this. So when you release a name like that, even if it was out for 10 days or 20 days. You have to know that people, if you're talking about the white powder that your family got, this guy's family's getting the same thing. And why is it okay for one and not both?
We don't
doing
know
it.
that that's actually happening to him, first and
Well,
foremost.
we don't know that it happened to you. But we're taking your name. We're taking your...
Well, we don't know that it actually happened to you, and they continue to go on that there are verifiable court records or police records stating that his family has received letters with white powder, unlike this situation, hypothetical situation that Whoopi Goldberg is making up here. But so the rebuttal is the situation that he is a private citizen. He can upload things to the internet. You can't stifle his free speech. He has a First Amendment right, just like anybody else. Although, I notice here, right? This leads us into the segue. You can feel however you want about it, like, right? I'm just putting this out there for you. How they were interacting, they think that he should be in trouble for outing the whistleblower, and he thinks that he's a private citizen who has his First Amendment right. So it's up to the public to decide who's right in that argument. It's not really. I'm only one person. I can just give you my opinion. Personally, I think that he can post whatever he wants. He obviously has a much larger influence than the rest of the average public or the average citizen in America because of his family ties, the influence that he has through his father being the president of the United States, which they disrespectfully refuse to ever acknowledge on this show, which is an ongoing theme they think is pretty funny. They think it's just hilarious if they never acknowledge that Donald Trump is the president. But guess what? That's not going to change the fact that for the past, what is it now, three years, he's been the president, and perhaps he's going to be the president for another 5. Well, this one's almost over, but another 4. So just something to keep in mind there, liberals. I feel like my mindset's very liberal, so I hate that being such a derogatory term, and I use it all the time. Liberal. Progressives. That should be the slur. Progressives, because they're very regressive. But with that being said, essentially what I'm getting into and what I'm talking about here today is how much The View sucks. Not just about this interview with essentially also what was brought up with this interview, but The View, in my opinion, sucks. It's not a good show. They're super hypocritical. Whoopi Goldberg is so absolutely just so degrading to the guests that come on and anybody who has an opinion that is separate to hers. And she is so holier than thou. She thinks that she's so much better. I really do have I don't know. It's a disappointment for Whoopi Goldberg because Whoopi Goldberg used to be a childhood hero to a lot of people. She has been in the spotlight for a long time, and in a lot of childhood movies that we watched growing up, we always thought that she was very cool, interesting, like this figure to look up to, the strong, independent woman. But so a comment that I saw in one of these videos, and it really translated hard, was that I think that Whoopi Goldberg took her role in The Lion King as the hyena into real life. And as you can see here, with the other timestamps I have, she begins to berate the crowd because berate the crowd because they are they've decided to start booing and getting a little rowdy, and that's not allowed at The View. The View does not allow the crowd to have their own view. They need to listen to whatever's on the monitors, cheer when they tell them to cheer, and just listen to their prompts. But you can see here the first steps of Whoopi Goldberg starting to get a little bit domineering and taking over the stage and the crowd.
That's not true. Okay, stop. Everybody stop. It's hard to hear.
Under U.S.
So
Code
finish
Section
that.
1505, it is a crime.
It's not accurate. Just ask Rick Paul. He went
My
to
law
great
degree
detail
says
on
it is,
the
but
other.
nevertheless.
But he's not the individual that first.
Okay, so like that was just really quick and it didn't seem like much, but everybody was talking over each other, but nobody was yelling at anybody, acting as though they were the authority at the table and they could make everybody stop doing what they were doing and change the course of the conversation, like Whoopi Goldberg decided to do. And there are small things. I advise you to go and look up these clips for yourself. Just type in Don Jr. at The View. There you go, John Jr. on The View. That's what I typed in. And there's 3 clips that you can watch that are put out by The View that are super incriminating to The View, which is absolutely ridiculous. There's one in particular that we're about to get to that is just ridiculous, that they try to frame in such a positive light for themselves as well. So anyways, that's just her beginning to get upset, and then by the end, apparently what I've heard is in the commercial breaks, she decided to tell the crowd, no more talking, no more booing, you're getting too rowdy, we've had enough of all this, all right? And so when they come back, the crowd continues to do what they're doing, and listen to how crazy she gets. If I was in the crowd, like, I would be yelling out, I would be upset. Like, I don't know if I would actually like yell out, because who cares? Who actually cares? But this kind of thing pisses me off. Go ahead and take a listen for yourself to Whoopi Goldberg berating the crowd, berating the crowd for having their own opinion.
Testimony is sort of interesting. It almost, he says something.
He's afraid of
on the
perjury.
record.
He's afraid of going to jail.
Or he's afraid of being attacked, like so many of us have for so long, by a vicious left that's running a one-sided chant thing. By Adam Schiff doing a one-sided thing.
Children! Stop yourself.
Oh, what? Are you upset that the crowd is upset and happy that someone has finally called out the left on a mainstream television station for their constant hypocrisy? It's kind of strange to see her berate people like that. Here, I'll just play it one more time, just to give you a little bit more context, because it actually really pisses me off. Imagine being in that crowd and having somebody talk to you like that.
Testimony is sort of interesting. It almost, he says something.
He's afraid of
on the
perjury.
record.
He's afraid of going to jail.
Or he's afraid of being attacked, like so many of us have for so long, by a vicious left that's running a one-sided chant thing. By Adam Schiff doing a one-sided thing.
Children! Stop yourself.
Children, right? Children, okay? Children. Because they're getting emotional over something that they find to be a hot topic to them. So, woo, burping. So, let's get into what exactly I wanted to bring up throughout this entire thing. So, the way that The View decides to frame this interview here. Meghan McCain confronts Donald Trump Jr. on his father's character, right? Okay? And so throughout this interview, she decides to once again put down Don Jr. because his father's Donald Trump, and apparently Donald Trump is a terrible person who should not be running the United States. Of course, I have many opinions on that as well. He may not have the best character, but he's doing what I can see statistically a good job running the country. But they have a good argument here, and if you want to watch the full thing for yourself, go ahead and look at it. The discussion between Meghan McCain and Don Jr. is pretty good, and his girlfriend there, it's a good discussion. But there are certain things that come in that I would like to discuss during this situation. So at one point, I had just made this as a comment, and then I came back to whatever. At 4:12, Whoopi Goldberg, or they're talking in general, right? And they talk about the fact that Donald Trump has had 93% negative coverage, and racist Whoopi, right? Like I say, says, suck it up. Just suck it up, right? Just suck it up. Just imagine for 2 seconds that Obama had 93% negative coverage. How much that would be perpetuated as complete racism. Like, sure, there were so many negative things about Obama at the time, but nothing like what we are seeing right now. And so I'll play this little clip, and once again, it's Whoopi Goldberg, right? Just outshining everybody in the pretentious nature of the game. Well, let's get into it.
Honestly, and you guys, you ran for president. It was absolutely brutal. They're up for re-election again. 93% negative coverage in the mainstream media about President Trump. They don't want to talk about the successes. I know the president, I know their family for 14 years.
You guys are at the top.
You
guys
I
are
stand
at the
for
top.
them like
Suck it up.
you and your family. I get it.
In all fairness, for
But we're
8 years of
talking about
Obama, there was zero
reciprocal
criticism for
civility.
anything.
I'm sorry. Now, what you can't do is you can't change the past. Obama became president, and the first thing that was said to him from the other side is, we're going to make sure you're a one-term president. We're not going to do anything to help. Well, I'm sorry, wait. I just want to say, who said it? I believe Mitch McConnell said it.
McConnell said it.
Guys,
And that you can look up.
but guys, look at what's
I'm
going on.
just...
Oh, really? You can look that up. Okay, let's go with this then, because I was gonna save this for, I was gonna save her specifically, I was gonna save her specifically for the second half, because, you know, Joy Behar has a situation in this story as well that is somewhat damning to her character, but Whoopi Goldberg is 100% more in the wrong in this situation. Cool, sure. Some people, people have opinions that I disagree with, and some people choose to display actions that I disagree with. And these two situations, guess what? Sometimes an action that you display can be less negative and less damning than an ideology or something that you support, or this. Well, let's get into it, guys. I'm getting a little upset here, and my mind is getting blurry trying to think about what I'm saying. So during the end of this talk, during the end of this conversation, they try telling Don Jr. that, you know, his dad's had a bad negative impact on the country. Everything is bad, negative influence, everything. The view is bad, blah, blah, blah. And he decides to turn around, I'm sure that you've seen this, and call out Joy Behar for wearing blackface and Whoopi Goldberg for supporting Roman Polanski and saying that he didn't really rape a fucking 13-year-old girl. Like a crazy dumb fuck. Like how... Okay, sure. And like, we're gonna pull everything up, we're gonna listen to the clip and just see exactly what type of mindset this person has that's sitting here berating everybody else, thinking that they're holier than thou, talking down to individuals. Buddy, come up and try to say that shit to me. Like, you are literally a piece of shit. I'm getting so fucking mad though. Okay, let's listen.
That we regret. I mean, if we're talking about bringing a discourse down, Joy, you've worn blackface. Whoopi,
No,
you
I
said
haven't.
that Roman
I'm sorry,
Polanski.
not.
I'm sorry, and don't... if
You
you
said
do
that
it...
Roman Polanski, it wasn't rape when he raped a child. So let's
Okay,
talk about
so yeah, no,
serious
let's
things.
talk
Come on,
about
that's
this.
not
So you
fair.
want to bring this up? The question came up.
I did not
about,
go in blackface, please.
No, she was not in blackface.
Thank you.
Sorry, listen, being black, I recognize blackface. This I can say. Okay? I know what
Back to the beginning of the stream. Being black, I think I could recognize blackface myself as well. You're not the only person that in the world that's black, Whoopi Goldberg. You're not the voice for black individuals. Guess what? You are not holier than thou.
Back me up on that.
So now that you've broken this piece of ice, because I guess this is the fight you wanted.
It's not the fight I
Yeah,
want.
it is.
But if we're
because
talking
when
about character, if we're
because
talking
when-
about these
Are you
things,
questioning my character?
I'm not
No,
questioning your
talking
character.
about
I'm talking about you're
okay.
questioning my father's character.
I'm
And
not-
I say we all.
I am 100% questioning your character, Whoopi Goldberg. You are a terrible person. Let's go ahead and listen to this little clip from The View itself. Whoopi Goldberg explaining Roman Polanski's child rape wasn't legitimate rape. It wasn't really rape. Let's see what Whoopi Goldberg has to say in her own words.
Was not charged. I know it wasn't rape. There is a
statutory
I
child molest, maybe. I'm
I
not
think
sure
it
what
was
the child
something.
molest.
It was something else, but I don't believe it was rape. And when we get all the information, somebody will tell me in my ear. All I'm trying to get you to understand is when we're talking about what someone did and what they were charged with, we have to say what it actually was, not what we think it was.
What he said he did. He gave her Quaaludes. He gave her champagne. She was drugged. She was 13 years old.
They were
He
having
asked her,
sex
here's a transcript.
beforehand.
But that's what I'm saying. You're 13 years old. She was still a child. He asked her.
Initially he was charged with rape. Go ahead. And then he pled guilty to having sex with a minor. Okay? And he went to jail. And when they let him out,
45 days.
And when they let him out, he said, you know what? This guy's going to give me 100 years in jail. I'm not staying. And that's why he left. So that's why I wanted to be really clear, because I wanted to know exactly what we were talking about.
And I'm going, does that make it okay to, you know, instead of staying and fighting, to say, you know, he's going to give me 100 years, I'm out of here?
I don't know if it's okay, but what we were talking about was what he did. And that's what I wanted to clear up. That's all I wanted to clear up. Because I don't like it when we're passionate about something and we don't have all the facts.
Okay, so he was charged with statutory rape. So should he be prosecuted now? I believe yes, because the crime has not changed. I know she wants to move on, but what does it say about crimes that are still being committed against children?
Well, she forgives him, but forgiveness is not permission. And forgiveness doesn't mean he didn't break the law. So I agree with you, Sherry.
And if, this is a point somebody brought up backstage, if he was not famous, would we be protecting him as much as we are? Because his friend Otto Weisinger said, you know, millions and millions of people love his work. He's a brilliant guy, and he made a little mistake 32 years ago. What a shame for Switzerland, said Otto Weiser, Polanski's friend.
Well, you know, I have to tell you, again, you know, we're a different kind of society. We see things differently. The world sees...
You are a different kind of society.
13-year-olds in the rest of Europe, they're seeing 13-year-olds in the rest of Europe. 13-year-olds and 14-year-old society. We see things differently. The world sees 13-year-olds and 14-year-olds in the rest of Europe. They're seen oftentimes.
Well, I wonder what Otto would say if that was his 13-year-old daughter.
Well, Sherry, I don't know, but I do know that not everybody agrees with the way that we see things. Now, would I want my 14-year-old having sex with somebody? Not necessarily, no.
No.
You know, but I will tell you that I'm not surprised that he hasn't come back. I'm not surprised that he didn't come back under the guise that he would have 31 years ago. Will he get a different kind of feel now? Maybe. I don't know.
I have a 13-year-old niece, and I know my 13-year-old niece.
I have a 13-year-old granddaughter.
I know, but I'm not saying anybody doesn't. I'm just giving my story. And I know my 13-year-old niece thinks she knows everything. But I know that if a 45-year-old man drugged my 13-year-old niece, I would go after him with everything in my power.
Where is the mother in this? Why isn't anybody talking about it?
Why? And I just say, why is the mother? What mother?
Who cares where the mother is? Why are you sitting there talking shit saying, well, they already had sex once before. She consented to it. It was a 13-year-old. Listen to the way Whoopi Goldberg talks. Well, you know, our society, some people in our society really don't feel the same way. Her morals are literally out the window. She's gone. I know that I used derogatory terms earlier because I was getting super upset, but you're a bad person. Whoopi Goldberg, if you ever end up seeing this, listen to me right now. Look at what you're saying. Look at what you have said. And if somebody brings it up in the future, address the situation. If you truly feel different, like what just went down today, so that we can go back and just listen to her response when somebody brought up the fact that she defended Roman Polanski when he was arrested for raping a 13-year-old girl, regardless of whether or not it's statutory rape. It's not rape in her eyes. Manipulation of an underage child by an adult is still a fucking crime. It's even worse than raping somebody, in my opinion. It's absolutely ridiculous. So once again, I'm going to pull this up, and you can listen to the way that she responds when somebody calls her out on her bullshit.
That we regret. I mean, if we're talking about bringing a discourse down, Joy, you've worn blackface. Whoopi,
No,
you
I
said
haven't.
that Roman
I'm sorry,
Polanski.
I'm sorry, and don't. If
You
you
said
do
that
it.
Roman Polanski, it wasn't rape when he raped a child. So let's
Okay,
talk about
so yeah, no,
serious
let's
things.
talk
Come on,
about
that's
this. So
not
you
fair.
want to bring this up? The question came up.
I did not go in blackface, please.
No, she was not in blackface.
Thank you.
Sorry, listen, being black, I recognize blackface. This I can say. Okay? I know it when I see it.
Back me up on that.
Yeah. So now that you've broken this piece of ice, because I guess this is the fight you wanted.
It's not the fight I
Yeah,
want.
it is.
But if we're
because
talking
when
about
you-
character, if we're
because
talking about these
Are you
things.
questioning my character?
I'm not
No,
questioning your
talking
character.
about
I'm
others'
talking about
character.
you're questioning my father's character.
I'm
and
not,
I say
I'm
we all
sorry,
have done
I didn't
and said
question
things.
anybody. I simply said, that when you're talking about that your father's taken more heat than anybody else, that it's not so. Instead,
As a president?
and when, yes, as a president, yes.
Ridiculous.
He's getting pressed every day.
I think
He's
the
a
Central
president.
Park 5 took a lot more heat than your father has taken at his hand.
By the way,
Name a president who's taken more heat than my
Everybody
father.
stop.
regular
Hold up,
criminal
hold
justice
up,
reform
hold
versus
up.
attack. President Trump.
We'll be right back.
And there she goes again, ringing her god dang bell, trying to act like she's holier than thou. And so, like you just saw, she diverted the question, never even brought it up, never even answered, never really even addressed what he said about her. Because she doesn't want to be part of this situation. She doesn't want to be called out. But guess what? You're called out. You're being called out right now. It's very evident. It's very clear. Your history's on the internet as well as being broadcast to millions of people on national television. People have seen you say this. It's not a. The things that he called out, which is hilarious. They put this on their own channel. This is from The View. They put it on their own channel for people because they know that people don't go and research for themselves. Nobody's gonna go and be like, oh, Joy Behar, blackface, or oh, fucking Whoopie Goldberg defends Roman Polanski. It's that fucking simple to find, okay? You want to see Joy Behar in blackface? Not only in blackface, because it's not a very good depiction of blackface, but it's her depiction of blackface. She admits that she is trying to be a beautiful African woman for Halloween, and that she wore concealer or whatever, kind of some makeup that was darker than what she was supposed to in order to look more black. That is blackface. You admitted to it once again on their own show, The View. So we're gonna we're gonna watch this, and just let me know if you guys think that it looks like she's in blackface or not, or if the description of what she has to say for herself sounds like blackface. Also, keep in mind that Raven Simone, right here, a childhood favorite star, right? Everybody loved That's So Raven, is clearly getting noticeably and visibly upset over the fact that she is in blackface and is not a black woman, and yet nobody gives a shit. You know why? Because the left is hypocritical and refuses to call out their own people they put up on a pedestal. It's absolutely ridiculous. If you find something wrong with someone, it doesn't matter what their ideology is, call them out if they've done something wrong. This is not okay.
In the New York Times, they had an op-ed piece in praise of naturally curly hair. They say that it's making a comeback.
When
Are
did
you
you leave?
excited?
I've always had curly
That
hair.
is
Y'all
a
late.
feminist statement.
Huh?
What do you...
No, is that you, Joy?
Oh, you know this picture. I was-
Joy, is that you?
Yes.
Joy, that is you?
Yes.
Joy, are you black?
No, I know. I was so cute. How cute I was.
Excuse me. I am black. I think that I can see whether or not you are in blackface. Okay? I'm the authority over all black people and know whether or not somebody is doing something wrong towards the black community, and this is blackface.
Are you my auntie, Joy?
That is me.
My word. What year is it? Circa
I
what?
was 29. It was a Halloween party. I went as a beautiful African woman.
Oh, yes, you ain't black.
But that's my hair. That's my hair.
That, you can be, yeah, but it is. So the whole point of
Why are you
that
upset
curly
with
hair
me
is
now?
coming back. I thought
That is me.
Did you have tanning lotion on?
A
Joy?
little, I had makeup that was a little bit darker than my skin.
We've got to fix it.
But that's my actual hair.
I love it though.
That's my actual hair, though, and that was the premise of the whole conversation. Then she says at the end, "Oh, well, I love it though," and so it makes it all okay, right? Everything's fine. She wasn't actually in blackface. It was all fine. Doesn't really matter. Whoopi Goldberg didn't ever defend Roman Polanski. Joy Behar never actually wore blackface. You know, we're all just crazy. Nobody's going to really look this stuff up. The View decides to put all the information out there for us to go and research for ourselves, but assumes that everybody that watches their channel is too stupid to go and do it, which is even worse, that they think so lowly of the viewers that watch their channel. So keep that in mind when you see things like this, that this is the perspective that the average Hollywood executive, Hollywood producer has of the average viewer of their of their content, that they don't even feel as though they'll go and look up easily accessible information like this. I've just shown you tonight, here, today, whenever you choose to be tuning into this video, Whoopi Goldberg clearly defending Roman Polanski, throwing all moral values, all anything that she could ever have clung to and claimed to have been a respectable individual from, out the window. And Joy Behar deciding to dress up as a black woman, a beautiful black African woman, for Halloween. Two things that Don Jr. decided to call out that I don't know why they put it on their channel, but I just decided to make this video and show you all just the, I guess, the receipts, you want to call it, you know, just a little bit of just so that it's easy, it's accessible, it's all in one place. You can just go and look it up. You can see what he said, you can see what he was talking about, and you don't have to go and look it all up for yourselves. But I'll put links to all the actual videos in the description below so you can check it out for yourself, as well as links to the Discord if you want to head over there to, you know, have a hard discussion with whatever topic you want. It's about a free speech, as free speech as you can get. There's no one being censored unless you do something like illegal or something wrong. So, with that being said, if you want to help donate to the channel, support the channel in any way, there's a Streamlabs, as well as PayPal, Patreon, and sharing the video, like I said in the beginning, liking, subscribing, so that YouTube thinks that it's a good video to recommend to other individuals, but I hold no hope to that anymore. So sharing it yourselves in between your friends and people that you find, people that would not normally see the content, right? People who don't agree. That's the best way to share and build this channel, because if we all just agree, it's an echo chamber, and that's not what we want here. I love talking about hard things. As you can see, I have a side channel, The Open Debate, which is this old channel. We'll continue to talk about hard things here. So, with that being said, I hope you guys liked the explanation, and look into things for yourself, right? That's the point. The view sucks. I hope you don't follow mainstream media. Look into things for yourselves. With that being said, my name's Elder. This is my channel. Be your own hero, kids.